Hi there, everyone. Welcome into My Chamber TV. We are the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is Jean Hungiville, president of the Tarpon Chamber of Commerce. Yes. Seems like forever since I've seen you.
I know. Well, a lot has happened in between there. We've had Christmas, we've had New Year's, we've had Epiphany. It's really been crazy.
I know. Well, Happy New Year.
We spent the whole time catching up before we were here.
Exactly. It's great to have you back again.
Thank you.
And as
Good to be here
always,
again.
you bring a great lineup of guests.
Oh, I'm excited this week.
And today we have Amanda White with TD Bank.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear all about, are there too many banks or what? But not anything is like yours, right?
That's right.
And that's what
unique.
I want to hear about, is what is so great about your bank and what kind of services you offer, because you were telling me about one in particular that you're really proud of just before the show.
Absolutely. So with TD Bank, we really pride ourselves in the convenience factor. That's one of the biggest things with us.
Yes.
We have a couple mottos that we go by. One of them is America's most convenient bank. When you walk into the bank, you'll see our logo and then America's most convenient bank underneath it. So to be America's most convenient bank, what we offer are later hours than a lot of other banking locations.
Nice.
So for example, on Thursdays we're open until 6, on Fridays we're open until 7, we open at 8:30 every day, and then Saturdays we're open from 9 to 1. A lot of your typical banks don't offer that convenience factor anymore.
That
I
is
did not
really
realize you
good
were
to
open
know.
that late.
Yeah, absolutely. And we offer a lot of locations. We're from Maine to Florida, so we're all along the East Coast, and we have over 1,300 locations.
Nice.
And in the next 4 years, which a lot of other banks aren't focused on right now, TD Bank is focused on growth. So our plan is in the next 4 years to open up 40 new locations within Florida alone.
Wow.
No kidding.
So
Wow.
yes, we're really taking charge on growing Florida as fast and as efficiently as we can. And our location in Tarpon Springs was actually the first part of the growth phase, which we opened 4 new locations in Tampa, and Tarpon happened to be one of them that we opened on September of this past year.
Very nice. And
Yeah.
I believe you said it was September you joined the chamber.
Absolutely. So
Actually, they joined before they opened.
Yes, we wanted to jump on that as fast as we could to meet Jean and the community and get involved.
Isn't
as
she
best we
great?
could.
Isn't
she
this-
is.
Oh, I was so excited when they came, because they're right in the public shopping center when you come into Tarpon on Tarpon Avenue, and that grand opening that you did was amazing.
Yes.
I sent John some photos of it, but I don't know if he was able to get them loaded up. There was, yes, there we are.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And so that we've had that, and they had a stilt lady there who was just all over the place. All of your bigwigs were there.
Yes.
It was just such a tremendous showing. Everybody was so friendly, so nice. It was a big, big deal.
Absolutely, and it meant so much to us that you all could be there as well. So we had guests from the chamber there, and we also had the mayor there. We were given a key to the city, so it was a very heartfelt event for me.
And you gave out a check to Habitat for Humanity, which
We did.
shows
Oh,
an
sweet.
involvement in the community, a $10,000 check, which was
nice.
very, very, really wonderful to do.
Absolutely, and one of my favorite things with TD Bank is we're very involved in the community around us. So one of the things that we did, we had about 3 months with my team, which is a crew of 8 people, leading up to the grand opening event. So in those 3 months, because we couldn't run a store, we weren't open yet, we did a lot of community involvement, and one of those things was to build a house in Holiday for a family. So we participated a few days on that, and then I was able to go to the ceremony to give them the hammer in support of all the volunteers that were able to work on their house. So it was really cool being a part of that for Habitat for Humanity and being able to give back to the community.
No doubt. And that, that's what it's about, living and working in the community, but giving back.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
And TD Bank stands for?
TD Bank stands for Toronto Dominion. We are actually a Canadian-based financial institution. So we have TD Financial Group under one umbrella, and then underneath it is TD Canada Trust, which originated in Canada in the late 1800s. And then, yeah, absolutely. So we moved to the United States about 15 years ago, and we now have a larger presence in the United States than we do in Canada. But in Canada, we're the big name bank. So we have a lot of conveniences that a lot of other U.S. banks can't offer because we're Canadian-based. So when our Canadian friends travel down to Florida and they love Tarpon
we have
Springs,
lots of them.
yeah,
This
w-
week
very
I've been seeing
good.
several of them.
Yes, so when they travel down here, it's like being at home. home. It's a little piece of home that, they can see our logo. We share the same logo as TD Canada Trust. And they just feel like it's an easy transition to be down here, and we can help them out with whatever their needs are. We can do financing for them. We can do mortgages for them, credit cards, banking, whatever their basic financial needs are while they're in the United States. We can offer that service for them.
Talk about convenient.
Yes.
That's true.
When you remember the chairman of my board, Leslie, with One Amazing Find. She's from Canada, from Toronto, and she was so excited when this bank was opening because she was going all the way over to Countryside to do her banking. And so she said, oh, good, it's right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember actually meeting her because we're trying to get out in the community as much as we can, so we're visiting all the local businesses. And we stumbled upon her store, and we met her, and she was so excited to see us. And that's one of the things I love about being with TD Bank. When I go out into the community and I meet my customers that already bank with us, and as soon as they see them, they're like, oh my gosh, I bank with TD Bank. I love TD Bank. We hear that so often, and it's so good to hear that, not every bank gets that kind of reaction when we're out there, but we have been warm welcomed into the community. I'm just so thankful for that. Everybody in Tarpon has been so awesome to us.
One of the things that I liked when I was there for your grand opening is when you walk into the lobby, it has a very different feel. You don't walk in and have glass in your face. You walk in and it's not the normal counters. It's like, well, the only other time I've seen this was NASA Federal Credit Union over in Virginia, and it was on the base. So you walked in and there's desks and you're talking with somebody face to face. And it's
very nice.
Just describe your lobby because it is so unique.
That's another one of our mottos is #BankHuman. So with Banking Human, the design of the space has been a big part of that as well. So when you walk into the two front doors, you do have your ATMs on the left. We have two fully functional ATMs that are 24-hour serviceable. So you can get into the building at night and access the ATMs.
And not have to be out in the parking lot doing the ATM.
Exactly.
Nice.
So it has that safety feature behind it. You walk yourself in the building, you're able to use the ATMs. But when you first walk in, we have all of our CSR desks, which are our bankers. And the CSRs, we have 3 of them. So you can go up to them. But when you normally go into a store, your teller line is right there and you may have the glass or something like that. We don't offer that. So when you walk in, it feels more of like a homey type of space. So on the right, there's a living room. We call it our living room.
Okay.
It's our seating area. And we have some sponge decor, which is kind of cool. We were able to tie in the community there. And we also have some Tarpon Springs photos up on the wall, little photo spots for the community to really feel like they're at home. And then our teller line is just on the right. It's just 2 simple teller stations. There's no glass. And you can actually, as a customer, walk around the back and be fully functional with the teller. The tellers don't just stand behind the glass and do your transaction. They walk around and they give you your receipt and they shake your hand. And we're not one of those banks that's just going to the electronic phase. We're not going to have just machines. When you walk in, you're not going to just have to use a machine. We will always have tellers just because of that bank human feel that we want to keep.
Oh, boy.
I think that's what the customer really loves.
Absolutely.
And really wants to go back to that on so many levels. And we've talked about that and just having a relationship.
Right.
Talking to a non-robot.
Sitting down and talking mortgage, you sit down and you talk, not across the desk, but side by side with somebody.
Right.
And that is just a whole different feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. Now, speaking of hometown and speaking of having deep roots from 18 for the bank?
Yeah, the lead.
You have deep roots in Tarpon, and
I
one of the
do.
reasons you are at this store, this branch, is because of your connection to Tarpon Springs. 5 generations?
5 generations, yes.
Talk a little bit about that. I love this store, this human part of your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So a long, long time ago, my great-great-grandmother moved here from England, and she moved to the Tarpon area. And she decided to raise her kids here, so the Sawyer family was my grandmother's family, and they lived here for a very long time. And when my grandmother met my grandfather, she moved into the Newport Richey area, so that's actually where I reside right now. And my grandfather, for the longest time, was the tax collector of Pasco County, Mike Olson. And I actually got into banking because of him, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Before he was a county commissioner and a tax collector, he was a banker. So I was like, I'm not really sure where I want to go with my marketing degree. I graduated from USF. And he was like, you should try banking. I really enjoyed it. And here I am
And there
13
you
years
are.
later.
How about that?
Thinking, yeah.
Isn't that great?
But your family came to Tarpon before the Greeks were ever there.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah, and my grandmother's a graduate of Tarpon High School, so I've just always known Tarpon to be part of my home. And originally for TD Bank, I worked in Newport Richey for 6 years, and I loved it there. But when I heard this location was opening, I was very excited to apply for it and be able to be part of the Tarpon community once again.
Well, you know, there's so much tourism around here, but there's just something about Tarpon.
There is, and I personally, yes, there's a lot of tourism. I don't personally feel, though, like it's a touristy community.
No, right.
It's,
No.
You know, you build those relationships,
Yes.
and everybody here's so loyal, and they build everything on the relationships between each other.
Everyone knows one another.
And it's a small town, definitely has a small town feel to it. But there's a warmth that comes with that as well.
There so is.
And that's one of the things that when we were doing the grand opening and talking about it, that was when I first learned that Amanda was 5 generations. Was it early 1800s?
Yes.
And the mayor was absolutely
He was
shocked.
shocked, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely shocked.
And not
because-
Greek, yeah.
And I know. And he was sort of, well, tell me, what is your name and who are you?
Exactly.
It was very, very funny seeing him at a loss for words because he knows so many people. And so he was able to go, oh, wow. And that is such a wow factor to have you there
It
with
is.
this old bank and then with this old family.
Absolutely.
And back home.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Well, Amanda, I want to thank you for joining us on My Chamber TV, and we look forward to spreading the word and the fact that you're open for so many hours, including Saturday.
Right.
So that whole convenience is going to go a long way in Tarpon Springs, and really all around, and especially for the Canadians that come down here and spend their time. And
Yeah.
gosh, that's great. Now I know that I can tell everybody about your bank, too. Thank you so much. You're a
Thank you
delight.
for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right. Stick around. We're going to be back in just a few seconds.
Yes. Thanks. it's a visual prop.
It's like the rubber people.
Oh, we are live. We're back. Hello. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. Hey, we have a great guest coming up now. Actually, two of them,
Yum.
which is,
Yum.
yeah, I know.
Yum.
We were just talking about food. So welcome back in. Barbara Marville here, your host, and Jean Hungiville, president of the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. And then we happen to have Chef Parris and Kimberly Manning. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
I want to hear
It's a
all
pleasure.
about your catering company.
Yum. That's all I can say is yum.
Let's talk food. What are some of your favorites? How does it work? And how do I get to not cook?
Oh, you
You
should have
married
seen
him.
it Thanksgiving. She could have not
Yeah?
cooked for Thanksgiving.
true.
That's a
Thanksgiving.
good place to start. Tell them what you did, because when we were putting the information out at Thanksgiving, I was like, am I going to cook? Well, yeah, I like to cook, but it would have been perfect for you.
I know.
Well, we have what we call holiday helpers. And that's basically set up for people who don't have the time or just want to, they have extended family in and just don't have, the resources to be able to cook in a large amount of food. So we offer holiday helpers. We offer macaroni and cheese. We offer baked sweet potato souffle. We offer green beans with or without bacon, and collard greens, wherever, stuffing. Kimberly makes an excellent sage sausage stuffing.
Oh, my favorite.
Secret family recipe.
Oh,
I
double
can say
secret.
that's like the one thing I do make better than chef, but there's not too many things. There's
We
not too many
won't
things.
tell anybody.
Right,
But
secret safe for the-
his smoked turkey, his smoked hams, and honestly, we continue to grow with the holiday helper menus from Thanksgiving and to Christmas.
This is a
So-
great idea, hence
yes.
the name of your company, The Smaller the Better Catering. I love that. Because, a lot of times it's it's not just the preparation of the turkey or the ham. I mean, that's pretty easy if you want to take the time, but it's all the other stuff that
Yes.
you've got to prepare too.
And the timing of it,
Yeah.
And the
Yes.
timing and getting everything on the table. This was the first time I didn't cook. My son took over and his wife. So I
nice.
sat back and I helped, and that was it. But I still like to cook, but not all the time. And you get a chance to be, with your guests and entertain and
Absolutely.
things like that.
So how did you start this, and how old is the company?
Well, we've talked about it for, we've known each other 7 years. We've been married a little over 2 years. So we've joked about it for 7 years,
Yes, we did.
back and forth, back and forth. And because I just kept seeing all the things that he was so capable of doing, and I was enjoying it, and our friends were enjoying it. And, he's always worked for other companies. And I just one day, really it was a leap of faith. I just kind of woke up and said, I think we need to do this. And, the biggest thing was coming up with this name and how could we be different. And he came up with the name because smaller the better. What we were finding a lot with catering companies were, they want the big things. We don't. Like, we have next week a 10-person dinner party in their home. So we do a lot of private chef in
private
homes.
chef.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
we do a lot of that.
And that's always fun.
oh,
That,
yes.
that would be because you're part of it as well.
You
yes.
get to drink
Yes.
wine while doing it
Yes.
and socialize. And it's always good to have company. It's like cooking in your living room, so to speak, with friends and family.
It is a lot of fun.
Neat.
So-
And, we've had, we did a big corporate event for a company at a beautiful art gallery in St. Pete.
Oh.
We were given an amazing opportunity, and I was able to do some creativity that I enjoy that side. I do not get involved on the food. We work together on menu, but outside of that, he does the
We have
prepping.
lanes.
You have lanes.
We have lanes.
And you're both in the right lane.
He's really good about staying in his. I'm always like this. So,
Well,
but-
I'll give you a perfect example of this. Last Friday, I had my board retreat, and Kimberly and we had booked it before Christmas, and then both of us were going to through the holidays and whatever, and then 2 days before it was like, oh, we haven't talked. And we spent, honest to gosh, 3 minutes putting that together, and my board was blown away. And it was a very easy, simple, it was about 6 different kinds of salads. Pasta salad, amazing chicken salad.
Thank you.
And just all of it, and so laid them all out. And I have half men and half women on the board, so salad. Oh God. No, and then had some desserts there. Brought in nice tea. It was very simple, but what was nice was presentation was lovely.
It's all presentation and
but it
taste.
was very simple
Yes.
and delicious. Oh Lord, it was just
It's known fact, excuse me, it's a known fact, half your eating's with your eyes. And,
okay.
And if it looks appealing, they want to taste it. That's where you either get them or you lose them.
Well, I lost them to you because 15 minutes before, and I was on a schedule. Finally, someone said, "Is anybody else hungry? Would you please just shut up and go eat?" Honestly, that's what one of my board members said. It was like, "Well, I guess we're taking a break now."
I love it. I love it. So what are some of your favorite things?
I love making, personally, I like stir fries.
Yeah?
I like stir fries of any kind.
Yeah.
We do omelet stations with certain companies around Tampa and Clearwater area. We do stir fry stations, pasta stations. So we're not just relegated to personal chef or just drop-off catering or full-service catering. We do actual active stations, which are your pasta stations, your omelet stations, your stir fry stations. That, for one, is fun. Two, it's good. You get to interact, as you're making things. And believe me, I love anything that's prepared right in front of me.
I do too.
Anything
yes.
fresh. I
You
love
see what's going into it, and you know
Absolutely.
it's fresh and clean and all of that.
We have a
Oh, my
company
goodness.
that they have us about every 3 weeks, and the employees pay for their own lunch, but I mean they love or breakfast because they love the omelet stations.
Yummy.
But they come and they just line up and he
And
just
we'll have about
prepares it.
15 different items for your omelet.
Really?
All fresh. The freshest, and most of it's organic.
Oh, that's even better.
Nice.
We love to work with locals, keeping it local as much as possible.
Okay.
Every Thursday, we also cook every Thursday at the Elks itself.
In Tarpon Springs.
In Tarpon Springs, Elks. And what we do is we kind of give back. The proceeds, they use the proceeds for keeping it in the community, and we just have fun. We just have a ball doing it.
He has upped, it's funny, the first couple of times that we cooked, we've been there, it's been almost a year, it'll be a year in March, from, lobster mac and cheese to meatloaf with raspberry glaze, or salmon patties. I'll never forget when they said salmon patties, the big burly men are in there, and when they've gone from maybe 2 or 3 to, there's some nights we sell out and like 54 people in an hour and a half. He goes
I've
and
heard
cooks, and then
that's-
I go and I just play little waitress, and it
This
is.
is how we booked it
Yeah.
for my board meeting. It was in the middle of one of these.
Really?
Yes,
So
because it was.
And they do
it's so
keep the
darn
money.
busy.
Yeah, the money stays local in Tarpon for veterans or more. What's deep in our heart is children, because we have
Children.
grandchildren who live in Tarpon Springs. So we love to give back, and we both really believe in giving back.
And we just have such fun doing it.
Now, how long
That's
have
so
you been a
great.
chef?
I've been a chef for about 15 years
Okay.
straight, but I've been cooking for over 35 years.
Okay, and where did you get your interest in cooking?
My mother.
I knew it.
Oh,
There's
I
always a
was-
story.
Yes.
When
How
I
did
didn't
that
have a
start?
job in high school, in the summer, the summers, if I didn't have a job, she would make me cook the meals. She got off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd be out in the street playing tag football with my friends, and I had one fella holler at me, "Parris, it's 2 o'clock.
You got to go.
I got to go." And I just started throwing things together and never really got a complaint out of them.
Isn't that wonderful?
So when I went in the Navy, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, so I was a boatsman's mate for while chipping paint. And that didn't sit well with me at all.
Oh, I wouldn't guess.
Every E1 to E3 has to go in the galley and have to work 60 days. And I found myself in the galley out cooking the cooks that were there.
Oh, nice.
So I had what they called a mess specialist at the time. They're called culinary specialists now. He kind of coerced me into coming in full time as a cook.
Nice.
And I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
I haven't looked back.
It's not work when you're doing something you love And especially when you're feeding people
absolutely right.
with healthy food that tastes good, breaking bread and enjoying and getting back to that whole relationship building. And I'll bet
Yes.
that you get bookings from the different events that you're cooking for.
We've done very, very limited marketing, very limited. We did a tasting in Tarpon Springs at the 1910 Inn. We partnered with Annie there.
That was our 1-year anniversary.
That was our 1-year
Oh,
anniversary.
okay. That was
Let everybody
also
know we were there.
fantastic.
We had about 100, 110, and he did all sorts of appetizers, and we have amazing friends. I'm sure many are watching or they will watch that just kind of stepped up to help be passers that evening, and
That
they
was a
have
fun
supported
event.
us from the beginning.
It
And
was.
but to see, we love, and I love the fact when I can watch him be creative. And, I used to kind of think, and, all joking aside, I raised 4 kids, and I had to cook. I mean, you raise 4 kids. But I myself have learned so much from him. I mean, we even grow our own herbs in the backyard to use as much as we can in
Oh,
our cooking.
that's always yummy.
And I love that part, and just simple things I've learned, just even how to cut herbs and how do you wash herbs in the right way. But so learning from him has been, and plus enjoying his cooking. But in a relationship, I mean, he is amazing. There's not anything that people say, what do you specialize in? And he really struggles because, I mean, we were asked to do a funeral, believe it or not, and they were from Guam, and they wanted food from Guam, and I'm thinking,
Okay.
for
And you knew
people
what
from
you were
Guam, I
doing.
mean,
Oh, no, I didn't know what I was doing. I researched it.
Yep.
Okay.
See?
And we tried it. And,
All right.
We
They were very
decided to step
pleased.
out there and put ourselves out there, and they enjoyed it. They
I
enjoyed it
love
so
this.
much that they hired us again.
Do you cook at home, just for the two of you?
I do.
Oh, and he
Do you
plates
do-
my food and he serves it to me, and I'm not exaggerating.
And do you do
Sometimes
the
I'm like,
dishes?
yes.
Then
I
you do the dishes.
Mhm. Yes.
I love it. I
Yes,
just
I
love
do
it.
the
But
dishes.
I clean as that
Yep.
go.
My job's the laundry. I'm the
Well,
laundry
thank you
person, so-
guys.
Well, no, thank you for
We're
having
out
us.
of great having you with us. I know we could talk all day.
Maybe
We'll
we
be
can
right
come
back
back.
on My Chamber TV.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
No,
Oh,
thank
it's our
you.
pleasure.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. We are the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. Today, we're featuring the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce, and we have some special guests here that's going to be talking about turning the tide.
Yes.
We happen to have Paul Robinson and Jeff Larsen, and my girlfriend here, Jean Hungiville, president of the Chamber.
Yes.
I know. What a great show again.
It is, and I'm really anxious to be able to share what these guys are doing. This
Right.
organization is new. I'm going to
Oh.
let them talk a lot about it because there is
Yes.
so much
Yes.
background on why this came about. We're getting ready to do a ribbon cutting that's going to be unique. And Jeff or Paul, who wants to start? Because you're going to fill up this 12 minutes really fast.
Yes, we probably need more than 12, but we'll do the best that we can.
We'll have to talk about that.
Basically, Turn the Tide for Tarpon is a 501c3 nonprofit organization focused on sustainability. And some people may not fully understand what that word means, sustainability. If you look the word up in the dictionary, it basically talks about the ability of something to continue on at the same level. And when you look at some of the things that are happening in terms of climate change and things of that nature, we're very concerned about the ability of Tarpon Springs to continue on. And so this group, Turn the Tide for Tarpon, was formed to focus on sustainability because we love Tarpon Springs. We think Tarpon Springs is beautiful and wonderful. And we want to make sure that future generations are able to enjoy all of those same things that we love about Tarpon.
But it has to do with the tides part of it, too. So where does that fall in?
Well, Tarpon Springs is facing some significant environmental challenges moving forward. Flooding is one of those challenges, and flooding actually is coming at us from three different focuses, one of which is increasing sea level, rising sea level. But we are also facing flooding from storms that carry more volume.
Oh.
The deluges that we are anticipating will have more rain than we're used to receiving. And of course, the third thing that we're facing is storm surge from ever increasingly powerful hurricanes.
Okay.
Now, the other thing we're facing is heat. And the projection is that we will have another 50 to 60 days of 95 or greater temperature
Great.
within 30 years.
Oh, dear.
Wow.
So add 2 months of really hot weather, maybe a heat index of 105, maybe higher.
No wonder I'm enjoying this 36-degree weather in Tarpon.
Well, and that's
Jeez.
going to change a lot of things. It's going to change the animal population. It's going to change
Yeah.
migratory. I mean, I noticed the difference this year with the live oak trees. They didn't drop as early as I had expected. They're dropping now, but shouldn't they have dropped most of their leaves around the Christmas time?
Yes. Another thing that you're alluding to is our pollen season is now 2 weeks longer than it was in 1970.
Okay.
So there are changes in the plants, and there will be changes to all of
Sure.
the animals and plants in our area.
Sure, that makes sense. So this sounds really great what you guys are doing.
So the organization, Jeff, is going to be doing what to turn the tides?
We realize that there's some organizations that focus on climate change and sustainability at a more global level, but we wanted to focus on this issue at the local level with Tarpon Springs. So we have a series of goals that we're working toward. The first goal that we had was to get the city of Tarpon Springs to form a sustainability committee so that the city could actually engage in the conversation about what's happening
Sure.
with climate change and what can be done in terms of adaptation as well as what can be done in terms of mitigation. And I'm very proud to tell you that we were successful in reaching that goal. It took some time. But we were able to convince the Tarpon Springs Board of Commissioners to create a Tarpon Springs City Sustainability Committee. So that's one of the first things that we were able to accomplish. One of our other goals is to get the City of Tarpon Springs to eventually hire a full-time sustainability coordinator.
Oh, okay.
And this is something that a lot of other municipalities have. St. Petersburg has one, Dunedin has one, Oldsmar, Largo, a lot of cities already have this, and this is something that we think is important for the city of Tarpon Springs.
Now, is that part of long-range planning? And so those cities probably have that as part of long-range planning rather than separately, or
It's
how do
great
they
that you
tie
bring that
together?
up, because one of the other goals that we have is to get the city of Tarpon Springs to establish a plan, a sustainability action plan. And we believe this is something that the Sustainability Committee is going to be working on, and eventually, hopefully, in coordination with a full-time sustainability coordinator.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yes.
I'm excited. I live in Tarpon Springs. Yeah.
I know. And watching this start to develop, and I've been here not quite 3 years, almost, but
Right.
watching the beginning of this and the roots of it and seeing little bits and pieces come together, and then it seems like all of a sudden, whew, here it is. So what are the next steps?
Go ahead.
Whoever.
One of the things we're doing is forming liaisons with other groups. For example, we have formed a bond with the USF College of Sustainability called Patel College. And one of their professors and several of their graduate students are attending our meetings. One of their graduate students is on our executive committee. She's the secretary.
So you're getting the next generation involved as well.
We're also getting an academic institution involved.
Okay.
And in turn, Aaliyah Garrett, who is the graduate student I'm talking about as secretary, is applying for grants that, if we get them, will allow us to gather data specifically on Tarpon Springs, on what is flooding, how much is flooding, and what the impact on commerce is being felt.
Oh, nice.
Very nice. Very nice. What? This is growth. Like, ooh, I'm glad to
I know,
hear
this
this.
is, I mean, really meaty stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm excited
Yeah.
about this.
I wouldn't have known that
How
if I
large-
wasn't hosting the show. So thank you.
Yes, you're on the other side of Tarpon. How large is your committee?
Our group has over 100 members that receive our correspondence.
No
and
kidding.
Some of those people come to our monthly meetings. We meet on the second Monday of every month at 6 o'clock at the Unitarian Universalist Church.
Okay.
We tend to get around 20 people showing up at our meetings on a month-to-month basis. But again, we have over 100 that receive our correspondence and provide feedback and so forth. And one of the things that I think is really great about our group is the diversity, wide range of ages. We have college students up to more veteran group members. And we have all different walks of life. I work in education. I'm a former city commissioner. Paul is a doctor. We just have, a wide variety of different walks of life represented in our group.
Well, it's the diversity of the group, the diversity of our city. But when you're talking about the student that's involved, you're bringing a college institution into it, but I'm looking at the fact that you're bringing a millennial in, young professional, someone who is bringing the next generation along, which will be the
Sustainability in
of the
itself,
committee.
right?
I was thinking
Yeah.
this is not good. This is going to sound too weird, but you're right.
Yeah.
That's going to sustain the committee and
Yeah.
sustain the whole concept beyond. Possibly then, if you can get these kind of people interested in running for commission seats or running for other things, that's really, really important.
Absolutely.
League of Women Voters might need to get involved in
It's funny you bring that up.
education.
Interesting that you mentioned that.
I was
tomorrow,
on the phone with them last week.
They're having an event tomorrow. This is January 23rd at the UU Church, the Unitarian Universalist Church, and this is through the League of Women Voters, where they're bringing in sustainability coordinators from some of the surrounding cities, and they're holding a roundtable discussion to talk about what they're doing for their city. But it's really neat that this event is being held here in Tarpon Springs, so we can get our community, get our elected officials, get the community to go and learn about what's happening in regards to sustainability.
I love this.
I was on the phone with them last week. They were talking about what are some of the questions that voters would want to know about in Tarpon Springs. And this group was the first thing that came to mind. And I said, can you give me about 24 hours to get my thoughts together on that? She said, well, I'm on a noon deadline. And it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So at 10 o'clock the next morning, we were on the telephone. We talked about some of this. I did not realize that they were coming to. So I didn't hand that to you. That was actually part of the whole conversation. So that's terrific. I'm really, talk about, now who's going to be at the ribbon cutting? Are you going to be able to get to the ribbon
We're
cutting?
both going to
We're
be there.
both going to be there.
And we will both be in the bayou in
Now, describe this to our listeners. You're not going to be knee-deep or waist-deep in the bayou.
we're going to be in kayaks, and I'm going to be in a canoe, and the mayor has said that he will ride in the bow of the canoe.
Did he really? You
Yes,
got
he
him to do that?
Oh, he likes the idea.
Okay, we
Yeah.
were a little nervous about this, and you're going to take the ribbon, and it's going to be a cross between two canoes in the bayou for the ribbon cutting.
And when is this?
That's March 26th.
March 26th. I love the
We've been
bayou.
waiting till after daylight savings time so that it can be at 5-ish, 5:15-ish, something like that, so that we've got, this beautiful on the water as well.
Oh, my goodness,
And
that
then
People
is
can
great.
participate by being in a kayak, they can be in the water,
Sure.
or people can attend on land at Craig Park. The ribbon cutting itself will be obviously near land, near where the cross is thrown for Epiphany.
So
That's
when
gonna be beautiful.
So when the joke is when the mayor gives you the key to the city, if it goes over, who's going down for it?
Well, if you get it, you're going to be blessed for a year, right? So,
Oh, that is so
This is
great.
good.
We're running out of time. We can
Well,
sit and talk all day with
I know.
you guys.
When Paul and I were first talking about doing this, and you said this is what you wanted to do, he was driving somewhere in the car, and I said, absolutely, this is a great idea. And then it just kind of went and went and went. I love this organization. I really am excited that you have pulled it all together, really gotten the C3, and yes, I'm excited.
It's going to be good. I just may show up. It's 10 minutes from my house.
You
Please do.
better.
I
Oh,
think
please.
this is going to be really, really a nice event, to say
Yes.
the least, but it's been creative, so thank you for that. Thanks for coming on the show today.
We're getting
Thanks for
short
having
on
me.
time.
Thank you
It's
for
like
having
all of a sudden the 12 minutes is gone.
I know, already. With just a few seconds remaining, I want to follow your whole entire group because it just makes so much sense. Thank you. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Yes. I think I'm losing my voice.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. It's Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is Jean Hungiville, who is president of the chamber. And I basically could probably turn the show over to you because you've got so much to share on what's coming up. And you've been with the chamber now 3 years? Almost 3 years.
March 1st will be 3 years.
We say this every year.
Can you believe it?
It's like, didn't you just get here?
Yes, and it's like, oh, Lord. And somebody was saying, and I went, 1, 2, 3. March 1st will be 3 years. And I remember when I was first starting, people said, baby steps, baby steps. And because I was like, gung-ho, let's go get all this stuff done. They were absolutely right, because lots of tradition, lots of stuff that's been going on for a long time. So that was absolutely good advice, and on through the next baby steps, and we're now picking up some momentum. Moving into the new headquarters. This new signs are going up. We're going to be having a mural on the side of the building. I mean, I'll give more on that next month when we've got some more on it.
Oh, how fun!
It's exciting. We're really gaining strength. We have a new board, as I was talking about our board retreat with Smaller the Better Catering. That was 4 brand new board members. One of which is a millennial.
Oh, very good.
And she's coming in, and it was some irreverence during our very staid retreat strategic planning. And she at one point made a comment about, well, you guys are a little older. And we all just stopped. But I went, this is great.
It is great. You are so smart for doing that because you pass the baton.
You have to.
And we all learn from one another, right?
Well, and the thing is, I'm looking at my future bosses, and you'll start to see some more non-gray hairs.
Yeah.
But it's simply because you have, in order for the chamber to grow, you have to build on what you have.
Sure.
And you have to look forward to the sustainability, as we were just talking about.
Oh, yes.
And the other thing is relevance. And the chamber of Charlie's days and the 20 years ago, he was a wonderful man. I wish I could have met him, and I can't think of his last name right this second. But it was something that you look at and you build from, and I'm now trying to look forward because we're passing it on, passing it through.
Yes.
This chamber, I'm doing a little bit of research, was 1927, and coming up I will talk later in the year about when our anniversary is, but I was able to find that. So 1927 with a renewal about 1986, and there'll be more to come on that one, so stay tuned.
Oh,
we'll have to figure out
definitely
something
will.
to do with that.
Well,
But-
what do you have coming up?
Oh, this next month, just for
Yes.
starters, tonight. Tonight we have Carson Family Care has a Medi-Spa mixer. We're going to be in there talking about what can we do to plump this little line, or talk about a facial, or do some other good things. They have Carson Family Medical Practice. Dr. Carson, Tom Carson, started this practice a long time ago. He's getting close to retirement. His daughter is now my personal physician, but they have a Medi-Spa that is now another arm of it. And so we're doing,
nice.
and it's been there for a little while, so we're now doing a mixer there, and that'll be fun tonight. It's from 5 to 7. They are on South Pinellas, right next door to the hospital.
Okay, I know just where it
Advent
is.
Health. So come and join us. It'll be fun. It'll be from 5 to 6:30. Have a little glass of wine, and
And see what's happening for anti-aging.
and they're doing all kinds of stuff for drawings and things.
Cool.
Some free giveaways. So,
Cool.
and then next week, we are looking at, on the 29th, our happy hour is at one of our newest members, Silver King Brewery. And Silver King is in downtown Tarpon on Lemon Street. It's only open in the evening. I really had wanted to get them in, and when we finally did a Bay Area Young Professionals after hours, I finally went in and said, I want to bring these kids in here. I'm going to bring 30 in. Can you join the chamber? And he went, oh, all right. And it's the first of the brewers that we are able to get in the chamber, because they tend to be non-joiners.
Yeah.
And they're very popular. So we're going to be doing a regular big chamber happy hour there at the end of the month on the 29th from 5 to 7, 5 to 6:30.
And where is that again?
It's in downtown Tarpon. I think it's on Lemon, between Ring and Gross.
I think I know where it is.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
It's between Ring and Gross, and it's the old firehouse, old.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Anyway, we have coming up in February back to Good Morning Tarpon, and Good Morning Tarpon is one of my favorite things. It's getting together, networking for breakfast, and it's at the Copenhagen Cafe. That's on February 5th at 8:30. Then the next week on the 12th, we have another mixer, and this is our member appreciation. It's the day before Thanksgiving, or excuse me, before Valentine's Day, which in some places is Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
February 12th. It's the mixer. It's a member appreciation. It will be at AHEPA, which is the Greek Hellenic organization that is right behind the chamber on South Tarpon, and we will be having things like chocolate roses and giveaways and all kinds of things that to appreciate our members and just tell them how much we love them, having them as part of us. Then on the 19th, at the we are looking at starting something new. Our Power Hour lunches, people have a tough time getting away for Power Hour lunch, and so we've decided to go quarterly with that.
Oh,
and
nice.
doing some talks. So in the meantime, on our third Wednesday of the month, we are going to be trying out doing another breakfast. This one, Johnny Grits is going to be serving breakfast, and it's optional whether you want breakfast or not. It's the Johnny Grits that is in Tarpon, which is on Klosterman, right across from the college. And brand new owner in there. Kevin is his a restaurateur from years and years and years, and he has come in the last couple of months, bought it, and is turning it back around. They have had a great menu, but they've had some starts and stops, and so he's come in, and I went in and to talk with him about doing this, and he sat down, handed me some tomato soup, grilled cheese sandwich, cut up into dippers, and we had our meeting that way.
Nice.
Talk about ideal. It is so
really good.
Oh, yes, it was really good. And I walked out of it thinking, oh, I have to come back here for lunch. I mean, not just for shrimp and grits. It's grilled cheese and tomato soup. So, awesome. But coming up, and we'll talk some more about this next month, but I have a big announcement to make.
Yes.
The Fine Arts Festival, which is the second weekend in March, it'll be the 14th and 15th this year. We are going back to some of our roots. We are going to be having a concert on Saturday night from 7 till 9. Used to be they went till midnight. We're trying it a little bit softer, stopping at 9. I'll probably end up going. It is the last U.S. concert for Bertie Higgins.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
We were talking with him, and he said, I'm getting ready to retire. I would like to do my last U.S. concert where my roots are in Tarpon Springs.
I just got chill bumps. How
yes.
cool is that?
And he's very excited about it. He's giving back to Tarpon. We got him, Bertie is really quite expensive, so he did us a really tremendous favor. And we are able to kick off our going back to our roots of starting with a music festival during the art festival. So on
nice.
the 14th, the Saturday, from 7 to 9, Bertie will be having his final concert in the U.S. So then he's going to be retiring.
Wow.
And he hasn't decided what he's going to do about his European audience yet, but this is the last U.S. one. And it's $5 to get in.
What?
Simply because he is really a super nice man.
Oh, my,
and
yes.
Key Largo, I had forgotten about the song, and I pulled up the video, and it's like, oh my gosh, Casablanca is the other one. It's great. He's coming with his band, so we've got the whole band as well.
Full out.
And
yes.
But instead of upping the price and closing down and starting back up, if you come to the Fine Arts Festival for the afternoon, or you come in the morning, and if you come in the morning and you're there and you pay your $5, we'll stamp your hand if you want to come back in for later. So you come back in, and we'll have beer and wine and food and all kinds of stuff. Now the artists will be sectioned off so that we won't be selling art and you won't be able to roam the entire park. But he'll be in the band shell, and it's again $5 to get in, and it's just going to be one of those fun things. I'm excited about that.
Wow.
So we just signed the
is
contract
exciting.
last week on that. I'm pleased.
I
really
love that.
pleased.
I love that.
Yes.
Right in our hometown.
Yes. Yes, started there, and we are kicking off a new thing with him closing himself down on that.
Very nice.
Now, some of the things that were going on with this art festival this year that I'm very excited about, we had 375 artists apply. That is the most we have ever had.
Really?
And and they've been up close to 300, but 375. Of that, someone said to me, well, I've already been to the art show and I've seen them. Of that, we have 210 spots. Of the 375 applied, 1/3 of them, 100 of them were brand new artists.
No kidding.
The jurying has gotten higher, and the bar has been raised and raised. We've had several people who have been in for 2 or 3 years in a row that were on our wait list this year.
Really?
People are coming in from all over the country. Last year, when I was talking about the fact that we were moving it to the second week in March in order to have people come to us, and then the next weekend is Winter Park, which is a huge art show. The word is getting out that we are giving away $20,000 worth of prize money. We are also increasing the quality of artists that we're getting there, so the competition's getting stiffer. This word is getting around, and when we started doing the survey, when people were applying as to where did you hear about that, some of it was through Zapplication, 48%. 48% was word of mouth. And so we are really excited about that. Anyway, 100 new artists this year.
That is
and
so
they're from
great.
across the country.
Excuse me, I'm glad that you're saying that'll just be a continual draw.
Yes.
When you have new artists that are coming on board.
It will. And one of our judges from last year is now coming on as a Judge Walker, and that's Jose Gelat, who is with the Plant Museum, because he's so excited about what we're doing and how it's growing.
It is growing. It is. I just love to listen to you because it just goes on and on and on and on. And, of course, you want to tune in because you're going to be here the 4th Wednesday.
26th of February. 26th.
And you'll have more things. Like we're here every Wednesday, and
Yes.
we talk about what's happening with the Chamber. And you're always a delight. Great guest. Thank you. And Happy New Year again, and good
Yes,
luck
I
with
know.
everything.
I mean, I have so much fun with you. Yes.
Well, we have fun with you, too. Always
Yes.
tune in to
Thank
My
you.
Chamber TV.